All right, so I'm gonna redo the Akatsuki ranking that me Draco and Bubbles did a couple weeks ago. The ranking we put out wasn't entirely accurate. It was fueled by a lot of bias that we had personally for some characters like Orochimaru. Um, this video I'm gonna try to make it more accurate. I'm the only one doing this. Bubbles and Draco aren't here. This doesn't reflect their opinion. This is just mine. I'm also using a manga databook only canon, so if you think that something in the anime perhaps changes the scaling here, that's fine. Just know that that's not being taken into consideration when this list is being formed. um, so I have it listed into 3 tiers here. Jinchuriki, obviously every Akatsuki member should meet this tier. Their job is to hunt down Bijou and Jinchuriki and beat them. The Sanin, I hold the Sanin to a bit of a higher standard than I do the Jinchuriki for some certain reasons that I'm not going to get into for this video, but it's mainly got to do with their scaling to the four tails. And Ninja God, these are just like the highest tiers in the Akatsuki. I'm sure everyone knows the 3 who are going to go in there, but that was just what I could come up with above Sanin that didn't seem like Kage level, because most Akatsuki people can beat Kage. So to start off the list, we're gonna do Hidan. Hidan is just stated to be the slowest in the Akatsuki by himself. And he doesn't have any feats outside of that. Other than he like keeps up with the weakened Kakashi. He's like got a conserve his chakra. He gets bodied by Shikamaru. He gets bodied by Asuma. Not a really strong guy, but he does beat the Two Tails, so he meets this requirement at least. Same for Conan. In the manga, we don't see much from Conan. She gets bodied by Jiraiya in base form, so she's clearly not in the Sannin tier. Sannin tier, by the way, this is just people who I think can either brawl with the Sannin or beat them. So she's not Sannin tier based off of that. And the only thing we know is that she's over Hidan because of Hidan's own statement. So, next, I'm gonna put Zetsu. And all these 3 people are probably relative. Conan is probably over Zetsu, to be honest, but Zetsu has a lot of intel. He's also got like a lot of clones and things like that. That's the only reason I'm gonna put him over Conan. But otherwise, these 2 are like equally featless. After Zetsu, I'm putting Kakuzu. All we know about Kakuzu is that he couldn't beat Hashirama. He could almost beat like a holding back Kakashi and the rest of Asuma's team, but had Kakashi pulled out Kamui, he likely would have died. Kakashi was also too fast for his senses with Raikiri. All we really know is that he takes down Bijou. And with Kakuzu, he should do that through brute strength. I don't think he really has any hacks other than his like immortality, but that obviously wouldn't help him win in a fight. So first in Sannin tier, I'm gonna put Kisame due to his scaling to B. I think scaled over like Takasasuke. You could argue Takasasuke thinks Amaterasu is enough to take down Konoha, which is something Orochimaru like failed to do. So you could argue that they're in that like Sannin-esque tier. Kisame also has things like chakra absorption, his water bubble, things like that. So he would probably mainly earn this placement through his fused Kisame state, but you can argue base Kisame is also here. After Kisame, we got Deidara. Deidara just has better scaling to a stronger Sasuke, right? Takasasuke stated to be weaker than Heavy Sasuke. Heavy Sasuke isn't really as strong as Deidara. Deidara was kind of beating him up. Takasasuke, you can argue, scales to base B, and so does Kisame. So Deidara should be over Kisame. C3 should like fuck him up. Sasori over Deidara, just by Deidara's own admission. Data says Sasori's probably stronger than him. Then he says yeah. So he like debates over it, and he's like, yeah, he's probably stronger. You can obviously argue Data gets stronger from that point on, but you really never be able to quantify it. To say he got stronger than Sasori, because Sasori does beat the third Kazekage. Now, while that's a bit vague, all we know is the third Kazekage is more powerful than Rasa and Gaara. So Data didn't deal with Gaara with ease. Like it's implied that Sasori did with the third. Or no, it calls the third a difficult opponent. Regardless, yeah, Sasori should be like comfortably over Data by at least a bit. First into the Ninja God tier, I have Pain. Me, Bubbles, and Draco did a video on Pain scaling that we're probably gonna have to redo really soon, because I've changed my opinion on who I think he beats by a lot. I think Pain is really strong now. And then I kind of, it kind of all made sense how Pain fits into the narrative. He's supposed to be really strong. So when I started understanding, everything kind of just made so much sense to me. Like, yeah, it makes sense that Pain is this strong. He's supposed to be strongest in the Akatsuki, things like that. So yeah, I'm putting Pain here. He should be able to kill everyone beneath this with Chibaku Tensei, Human Path, things like that. Obito over Pain. Now, it's just implied by the narrative multiple times that Naruto needs to get stronger to fight Obito. While he's like being relative to Pain. Pain also takes direct orders from Obito. Now, that doesn't have to mean power, but I'm gonna take it as it meaning power. Nagato's a pretty prideful guy. But he could just trust in Obito's wisdom. I'll acknowledge that. Obito's really strong though. Obito's got one of the more easily accessible win cons in the entire Naruto verse via Kamui. So him being here isn't anything terrible. Now, top of the list, we have Itachi. Itachi is just a monster. Itachi beat up the strongest Orochimaru we see on screen while he was blind and about to like pass out from being dead. He beat up the strongest Orochimaru we've seen, the 8-headed Hydra, stated to be just stronger than Orochimaru. He no diffs Orochimaru when he's 13 as well. There's the statement in part 1 that he's like relative to Jiraiya, but you can very easily argue that Itachi's lying there, because he does, when he makes that claim, he also makes a claim that would imply he's the strongest in the Akatsuki. What's stated is, if him and Jiraiya were to fight, they would either kill each other or wound each other very badly. And he says, even if we had backup, as in, other Akatsuki members, the outcome wouldn't change, right? Which would imply that he's so much stronger than everyone else that they couldn't even help him in a fight. And Kisame doesn't even like hold contention with the idea. Kisame obviously admits in that same scene that Itachi's stronger than him. He says, I can't handle Jiraiya, but you might be able to. Itachi's also got hacks like Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu that would kill everyone here. Everyone here, except maybe you could argue not Deidara. Or not Deidara. You can maybe argue Sasori can't get caught in Genjutsu, and Pain. Everyone else it should work on, and both these two should get destroyed by Amaterasu. Itachi's he's just a monster. It's implied by the narrative that like Obito is scared of him. That he thinks Itachi could kill him, things like that. Itachi's just really strong. Itachi being this high on the list isn't even like contradictory to the narrative. And obviously I need to address this. The Zetsu placement. Obviously, if we were to include every single one of Zetsu's feats, right? He would be up here. You could argue Speed Blitz Jubi Badara. But let me bring him back down. Uh, yeah. So I'm gonna end the video there. If anyone wants to debate me on the placements, more than welcome. But remember, this is a manga data book only canon. I did not take into consideration any anime things or anything like that. So, yeah, that's the list.